Fab. So you should have all your data from your homework. Otherwise, I will give you some data to use for this lesson, but that is going to be a detention, obviously. And for the detention, you will need to have your data. So you still need to do the homework if you haven't, but I'm expecting all of you have. So now we're going to look at how we can put in frequency tables into your GDC, because your GDC can do all the calculations that we've been used to, the mean, the median, the quartiles, can do all of those using frequency tables as well, which is really clever. And it will save you a lot of work as well, especially in the exams. Okay, when you come to do this, don't forget that if we go to our stat here and we go to edit, this is where we get our table, and you can fill in whichever columns you want, but you have to remember which column contains your values and which column contains your frequency data, because your calculator is going to ask you for that in a minute. And I'll show you how the TI-84 asks for it and how the TI-83 asks for it as well, because it's a little bit different. So I'm going to still be working here with the data we looked at a couple of lessons ago, with the number of sweets in different bags of sweets. So my column 1 just tells me how many sweets were in each of the bags. So we had a bag with 20 sweets in, we had a bag with 21, a bag with 22, a bag with 23, and a bag with 24. As a rule, use your L1 to put in the actual values. You can then use L2 to put in your frequency data. So I know that 2 bags had 20 sweets, 3 bags had 21 sweets, 13 bags had 22 sweets, 4 bags had 23 sweets, and 2 bags had 24 sweets. Okay, so this is my data here. My values are in L1 and my frequencies are in L2. So now, if you're using the TI-84 Plus, you're going to go, or for both of them actually, you're still going to go back to your stat here, going to go across to calc, and you're still going to use your one variable statistics, because we are still only looking at one variable. I'm looking at the number of sweets in a bag, you're looking at whatever you're looking at. Favourite number, shoe size, whatever it is that you've chosen to look at. Okay? So we're still going to go to one variable statistics. Now, if you're using the TI-84 Plus and you hit enter on one variable statistics, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see your list, and this is where you put your values. So automatically it says L1, which is why it's a good idea to put your values in L1. Then it asks you if it's a frequency list, and if it is, you put in the number of the list which holds the frequency. So in this case, the number of our list would be L2. So you can just see here, L2 in blue. So to get to that, you need to do second and L2. Then you can go down to calculate, and you should get your values as you expect. For the TI-83, it's a little bit different. Now I know this one says a TI-84, but it actually acts like a TI-83 a lot of the time. So I'm going to go on to my one variable statistics, and I'm going to tell it that my one variable is in L1. I'm then going to put a comma and tell it that there's a frequency list in L2, and I'm going to hit enter. So I found out here that the mean number of sweets in a bag is 22.04. If we have a look, that makes sense, because 22 we know was the mean from last time. The total number of data values we looked at was 24. The minimum number of sweets in a bag was 20. The first quartile was 22. The median was 22. The third quartile was 22.5. And the maximum number of sweets in a bag was 24. So I'd like you to do this with your data, and I'd like you to write down all of these things: the lowest value, highest value, and the range, the mean, the mode. Now your calculator doesn't calculate the mode, so you're going to have to work that one out yourself. The median, Q1, Q3, and interquartile range. And again, your calculator doesn't calculate the interquartile range, you're going to have to do that. Once you've done it for your data, and please make it clear on your sheet that that's for your data, I'd like you then to go and practice with exercise 2B on pages 47 to 48. And I'd like you to write down all of these values for that exercise. It will be easier if you've already done your homework.